Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
So this week we got a lot of stuff. So I'm going to go through the mitzvot individually. I'm going to spend 20 minutes on each. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. So this week and next week are, I think, the big meat of personal mitzvot, mitzvah. And so I'm going to go through them kind of, if some kind of jump out, I'm going to point to, then I have something to say about something that's going on in our collective culture. So I try to be, there's a dichotomy of I try to be practical and I try to be mystical. And the mystical part comes out. It's like squeezing a lemon, right? So I may talk about seed and end up talking about Bigfoot or something. I exaggerate, but the thing is as Jews, it's different than any other religion. We carry whatever's going on with us. A lot of people envision, the traditional Jew being like Ashkenazi Jew. Like you come in and the first thing we do is we hand you a vat of gefilte fish, and give you a black hat, and that's not necessarily where it's at. It's we're from all different walks of life, all different shades, Asians, Africans, Europeans, all sorts of people or make up our family. So I'm going to go over the Rambam's mitzvah count this week. We have 51, so I'm going to try to go through real quick. So fear your father and mother. So this one is mentioned several times in the Torah portion. It's also mentioned in the Haftorah, which Ezra and Nehemiah make a point to bringing this out. So when you see something in the Haftorah and they focus on this. So they're pointing to things that cause problems for us, that make us be disinherited. So for those that are older, that maybe have lost their parents, the more space you have between your parents in age, the more you realize your father and mother as a person. And I would say try to honor your mother and father while they're still alive, because it's very difficult. You see your parents in a different light when you can't interact with them anymore. In one way in our Jewish culture we can is by giving donations in their name so that they might be elevated. Don't inquire about idolatry. I'm going to continue on with the mitzvot. Not to make an idol for others. Okay. Now we can sell meat that we find. We can sell unclean meat to people. We can't make idols. We can't engage in that. So not to eat that which was left over. This is very. Hashem says this is an abomination, right? Hashem wants us to be healthy, right? So Hashem basically saying, look, 3 days you shouldn't be doing that. There's that phrase. I forget. It says 9 days in a pot, 9 days in a pot, 9 days old, right? It's talking about porridge, right? It just keeps on getting recycled in Old English. There's a reason why the English kept on getting sick, right? Hashem says 3 days, throw it out. Not to reap the corner, not to leave gleanings, not to gather the gleanings, to leave the corner of the field uncut for the poor, to leave gleanings of a vineyard, not to gather the gleanings of a vineyard. So what that basically is saying, look, Hashem expects us to take care of those that are around us. Even Yeshua says, even after the redemption, there's going to be poor people. I don't understand that. I don't understand how people will be able to be given land in a restored kingdom, and they immediately sell themselves into slavery. And but apparently that's going to happen. So we're supposed to be taking care of the poor. Leave the unformed clusters of grapes, not to pick the unformed clusters of grapes. not to deny possession, something entrusted to you, not to swear in denial of a monetary claim, not to steal money stealthily, not to swear falsely in God's name, not to rob openly, not to withhold wages or fail to repay a debt, not to delay payment of wages past the agreed time. So we need to be in contract. We need to contract with people truthfully, not to put a stumbling block before the blind man. So we're not supposed to mock people that don't know that they're mocking them. So well, they don't know. It's making fun of them. Hashem says he sees and he's going to hold it to their account. And because what we do to somebody is we're doing it to Hashem, because everybody has the essence of Hashem in them. Not to curse any upstanding Jew. A judge must not have mercy on the poor man at the trial. A judge must not respect a great man at trial. A judge must not pervert justice. Judge righteously. Not to speak derogatory of others. Not to stand idly by if someone's life is in danger. Not to hate fellow Jews. Okay, now Rambam is speaking in the context. Rambam is going on the house of Hillel, right? So Shammai is of the law. Now, actually, this is a place where I agree with Shammai. Shammai was in the thing was treat everybody, whether they are the biggest heathen in the world or they're a Jew. His take was we should put everybody under the Torah. The person way out in the farther regions and what they call the islands, that would be part of United States. And what he's basically saying is how do you know these people are not Jewish? We can't know. So because we can't know, then we just expect them to keep it. Right now, we can't do that. Because he was extreme in some ways. Okay, so. But I kind of agree. He was kind of like, we don't know, so let's just keep them. So I think we can say we love everyone, Jews. But we'll just go ahead and make somebody an honorary Jew and love them, right? Not to hate fellow Jews. And again, I said extended to the theory of a Shammai, that we're going to extend this. Okay, that's just my own. To reprove a sinner, not to embarrass others. Now, this is put again with what Rob. I'm having my brain skipping today. Rob Rubin. I apologize. What he was saying is part of loving is reproving. Now, we don't go put everybody on blast. We just say, listen, I love you. I noticed you got this thing going on. Hey, listen, are you okay? Whatever. We try to admonish our brothers and sisters and then it says not to embarrass. Actually, there are some sages that say embarrassment is like you're killing someone. So we need to make sure that we keep everybody's dignity. Then again, it says to love other Jews, right? We've already came across that. Not to take revenge. Revenge is a plate served cold, because it doesn't solve anything. Don't bear a grudge. I know somebody that we're going to a family reunion, and people haven't talked to each other for 20 years, and a lot of times they don't know why they're mad. The 20 years they don't know. It was heaped on and on and on, and it creates just a bunch of pain. Not to bear diverse seeds together, not to crossbreed animals, not to eat a tree, fruit of tree during its first 3 years. The fourth year crops must be totally and wholly purposed. I like this maser. Maser, that means that it must be given to charity. Now this is one of those mitzvot that is applicable to land, but we can practice. So if you have a tree, a lot of trees require about 4 to 5 years gestation anyway. So, that's not going to be an issue. I don't think they have oranges in the land. Not to be superstitious. And this is what I'm going to talk about later. not to engage in astrology. This is another thing. Men must not shave their hair of their sides of their head. Okay, that means with a razor. Okay, men must not shave their beards with a razor. Okay, this goes into the customs of the Egyptians. Not to tattoo the skin, again, an Egyptian custom, to show reverence to the temple. We're supposed to respect the temple. We do that today by praying to the east. Not to perform ov. In other words, we don't go and this was a medium, those who spoke to the dead. We're not supposed to, the dead are dead, and we let them deal with their own world, and we don't interact with them. No, it's not like we can't remember our dead, but we have our own customs in Judaism to deal with that. We're not supposed to seek them out. Not to perform Yiddenai, which is a fortune teller. You know, a lot of times they'll have a carnival and they'll have a fortune teller, even in fun. And, you know, we're not supposed to do that. Honor those who teach and know the Torah. It's very important that we not speak bad against those who teach the Torah, and teach the Torah yourself, as Yeshua commands us. Not to commit injustice with scales and weights. Again, we're supposed to be truthful in our business dealings. Each individual must ensure the scales and weights are accurate. The courts must carry out the death penalty by strangulation. So the courts must carry out the death penalty by burning, not to imitate them in customs and clothing. This goes back to Egyptians. Okay. So the capital punishment. Okay. There is I would say a meme or a thing that the Gohim, those who hate Judaism, those who mock us, will always say, "Oh, you know, you go around killing your children, you go around, you know, living by the Old Testament," is what they say. You know, there's just roaming bands of Jews looking to kill people. We got rocks in our hands, but the court was who made the death penalty. Okay, this wasn't a common everyday person, and we have record the Sanhedrin that said we should very, very, very seldomly engage in capital punishment. But we'll see that a lot of people say they'll take things for to the extreme. They'll say, well, if you committed one sin, you committed an all, and it all leads to death. This is not true. It says right here, some people are burned, some people are strangled, some people are put out of the community, right? Some people have to take a bath. Some people have to basically say they do teshuvah. So there's different punishments. You know, there's a lot of information, a lot of things that we can do this week. I would say just focus. Well, we got the next Torah portion coming up. We have 56 this week, but there's lots of things that we can apply to our lives this week and every week. The Torah portion should bring something up almost daily to us. Stay in the Torah, stay in prayer. Okay, I want to address something going on in our culturally, me in the United States and everything like that. Okay, so I know that a lot of people, there's been this phenomenon of the aurora borealis, and a lot of people, whether it's a hurricane or an earthquake or a tornado or a comet or an eclipse, they want to put the end of the world. You know, the end of the world is coming. It said in our Torah portion today that we should not give ourselves over to omens. Okay, if we look in the Torah and the Torah commentaries, you will see that the aurora borealis is, for the most part, absent. The reason why is because it was not usually an event that was observable in Israel. Okay, it's like you won't see a blessing over buffalo or corn, right? Because these were not things that were part of in Israel. Okay, now the commentators have said that when we see such an event, When we see such an event, we should come in to give the blessing of Osei Masa Vereshit, okay, which goes on to, if you see that, and I'll say the blessing right quick. I just had it written down here, and it looks like I have erased it. Okay, so you can look it up. The blessing Osei Maseh Bereshit. I guess there was a reason why I didn't, so it wasn't a vain blessing. Okay, so this is something we read this week. What we read this week is that there's something called wasted blessings. This is a blessing. So a lot of times we've been doing this for the wine. This is something that's covered in Yom Kippur. Okay. If we're not planning on doing something, for instance, we bless the wine or we bless bread, we should eat bread and we should drink wine or we should eat vegetables or whatever we're blessing for. We shouldn't waste the blessing, right? So if you're not planning on drinking wine, skip the blessing, right? So okay, so for the Torah portion, okay, another thing I want to just kind of bring up, and then this is, I'm going to close with this, okay, is, one thing actually that we came across, we actually, my wife actually brought this up in her Musar class for the children, was the custom that we had not heard of until we came across it. And it's right here in the Torah portion. There's so many times that something skips over us, and then it wasn't until our fellow brother or sister points it out to us that we even pay attention to it. So that's the good thing about having our brothers and sisters that help us help us to teach us to observe certain mitzvot, and that's the mitzvot of standing for the elderly. And I had never heard of this. It's not a thing you naturally do, and there's a whole long discussion about how many feet they have to be, and as a good Jewish discussion in the Talmud, there's all sorts of stuff about it. But the main idea behind it is our the elders of the elders around us, the elderly, and it's broken up into elderly and the super elderly. Basically, there's different blessings and different things to approach it. So main thing is we should hold true to what Rabbi Nachman says. The world is a narrow bridge. We should not be afraid, whether it's aurora borealis or tornadoes or any type of any effects. We should hold true to the Torah. There's lots of Torah mitzvot to dwell on, and when we do see something beautiful, we do see something, we should be thankful for it because it's a blessing from Hashem. Shabbat shalom.